I often talk about the energies that we reside in are exactly the thing that will determine our quality of life experience, the things we draw into our world. And there are so many layers to this, and I'm sure I'm going to uncover so many more just from the way I constantly self-reflect and reflect on the world around me. But where I'm at right now and my understanding right now, what I believe to be true, when we first come into this world, we are at a certain frequency when we first arrive. And what that frequency is determined by is, if you believe in past lives, because I certainly do, but wherever we left this world previously, we will be sitting at that energy frequency and we will get drawn back. It is an energy frequency where we are comfortable at sitting. We source back to our pool of energies that we often keep cycling through. We still come back to what is familiar to us. When you haven't known a life of high frequency, it does not mean that you're forever doomed and you're going to sit amongst lower frequencies. It's a matter of understanding that our perception on our life, our perception on our self-worth is where it begins in order for us to change and start to invite higher frequencies and have that more positive effect on everyone around us. And it happens so naturally because we are all empaths. Even the most shut-off person, it does not matter. We are sponges to the energy within our environment. We cannot do anything to change this except become consciously aware of how much we are susceptible to the energies that are circulating around us at any given point in time, and then making that conscious decision to step in accordance to where we would like to go in order to feel more of a certain energy. So this is what I do always. I am constantly reflecting on my surroundings and weighing up my true and deepest place of balance. When I am there, I am able to source out which way I want to direct myself and invest into an energy frequency that will only add goodness into my world. Because we will often stay in these cycles that repeat themselves, that keep us unsatisfied, because that is what we become so familiar with. We are accustomed to believe that we are of a certain category without us even intending it to be this way. It's so subconsciously done. And this is where you have to become aware. When you are aware, you are awake. When you are awake, you can control which way you step. So many walk through life blinded by their ability to direct the steps they take toward the energy frequencies that they want to feel more of. So the moment you understand just how much power you hold within you to direct those steps you take in order to invite or close out certain energies that you are so sick and tired of living through, this is when your life begins to shift. We cannot escape the contrast of energy within our existence here. You know, you see all too often people use vices of all different means, you know, like of all different sources. They will use vices to try to escape and outrun the heaviness of this world, of this reality, this universal flow of energy that involves every contrast, from the lower end of extremes to the highest vibrations. We are constantly being presented with these different frequencies that will flow in and out of our worlds within any given time. It is up to us. Not while we're young. While we're young, we don't know. This is a learning curve. We are given a certain frequency that we open up our eyes into when we come here. But as we get older, and this is why I share what I share, because I've lived a life of a lot of heavy lessons, and it does not matter what those stories are. I have faced enough of that to believe that I am in my right to speak on this, and anybody who is here walking this earth has the right to express themselves with what they have experienced just as much as the next person. You do not need a title or a status in order for you to speak from however it is that you have taken in your world. You are the expert of your life. You, whether somebody agrees with it or not, this is your given right to express yourself. Only the hierarchy of this world, those superficially based stigmas, those titles that have been stamped on people and given them the tick of approval by society, by this limiting programming that has been put out into the world for people to be allowed to express themselves and speak, you know, about what it is that they have experienced. This is the biggest illusion that, for me, I have broken free from. I will speak because I exist and I have experienced my life, and nobody can tell me how I'm meant to take in what I have over my life's journey so far. I offer it out because this is freedom. When you can be that transparent and put it out to anybody who is in search and receptive to take in all these diversities of journeys that each of us walk, only then does your mind expand and you become so receptive to all things. You become so receptive to listening to it, and it opens up your mind, your mind's eye, where you are able to connect deeper with the energies that are in your surrounding, because you understand one thing. When you open up your ears and start listening and stop being put into these small boxes that this world has subjected you to believing is where we need to be remaining throughout our whole lives, you free yourself and you're able to connect deeper to the source of all we are. Because you realize that each and every single one of us are going through these contrasts of energies within our journeys. Each and every single one of us, the displays are presented differently, and whatever energies become our norm will determine our level of what we pull into our world, our quality of what we draw into our world. So I share this so anybody who watches my videos can utilize my lessons, so they are able to reflect back on where they are possibly stuck or limited and gain even the smallest little speck of positivity from it and hope in order to step up their game and move forward into a better timeline for themselves. This is how I see it. This is what I have come to realize very deeply. I am a spiritual being who is having a human experience, and we hear this so often being put out into the world, but when you get it so deeply, it has such a profound shift within your inner psyche, because you understand that we are all connected. Everything I see is a reflection of me, a piece of me, because I am from that one source energy, and it is from that one source energy. You all of a sudden remove the fear of stepping toward anything in life, because you understand that everything you see is you looking back at yourself. I can relate to the lowest frequencies and I can relate to the highest frequencies as well, because all of these energies have moved through me at some point in time. You unlock to a knowledge that you carry so deeply within you when you free yourself from these stigmas, these walls that have been put around your mind and keeping most of us caged for our whole lives. When you remove these blockages and this separateness from our truth that we are all one, you then start to be able to open up to your spiritual connection. You then start to be able to open up to your soul. When you open up to the truth of yourself, because this is our deepest truth, the core of our being is held the same within all of us. It doesn't matter how you express yourself throughout this world. When we leave this temporary vessel, this short-lived skin, we do not end. Our energy goes out and circulates looking for another vessel to come into play. Where it goes, I do believe that there are many different places it can go, not just here, what we know this world to be. I am that kind of thinker. My mind is not limited to how vast this never-ending and infinite energy that has always been and always will be. For me, I can come up with a million different perceptions on what is out there beyond what we can even fathom. We have only scratched the surface. What is presented to us is nothing to what is true. The truth is, our world has been cultivated by interpretations from the limited human mind. When you unlock to your spirituality and you reconnect to that truth of all you are, you all of a sudden understand that there is infinite possibilities taking place right now outside of what we have created and structured in the world we see around us. This is one tiny little speck of interpretation that humanity has been built upon. The world of spirituality is endless. It's like opening Pandora's box. It is anything and everything you can imagine. It can be real within a reality somewhere. And this is why I do not shut off my mind. Everything is a possibility. When you do this, you connect so deeply and you get messages, you get signs, you get things that drop into your mind that are, to me, very real and are guiding us to open up our minds and expand with our perceptions and stop living with limitation and keeping ourselves so small. Because this is what this world has done to the human experience. It keeps us so limited. We are of great power. We are from the one source that brings everything into this life experience. It is the contrast that is needed, that we encounter, that is meant to remove the layers as we go and take us deeply into ourselves to unlock our true power. And our true power, there is no limits to how far we can grow, to how high we can vibrate within our energy frequency. The higher you vibe, the more obvious it becomes of the frequencies of all different ranges that you'll be faced with, because you're so tuned in that you are constantly feeling those energies move through you. You understand that you are energy. And you understand what energy feels like when you are met with certain frequencies. It is so obvious, you cannot shut your eyes to it anymore once you open up to this understanding that everything is a vibration frequency. It is what we are, our truth. And I don't care if people don't relate or understand, you know, people who want to stay in their conformed little boxes of living under somebody else's system who has told you you'll be condemned and punished for the way your mind wants to expand and take in more. To me, this is control of a human being who came and put a lid on everybody else so they could actually do it easy for themselves and line their pockets and have you working as a slave to their system, have you under their thumb for your whole life. Anything that has you believing that something is above you, this is where the ego has come in and created this storyline so they could control you and keep you small. Spirituality is free, it is open, it is receptive to all things. When you're connected to your spirit, you understand that everything reflects back to you. It is this simple. What you put out of you will be faced back at you in this life. This is the universal flow of energy that I have come to understand. Whether people like it or not, disagree with me, I do not care. I feel blessed that I realize this because the quality of my life now lies in my hands. I have given myself that right to cultivate a higher timeline for myself and start shaping my world from the inside out. I am growing my world from inside of me. I am shaping it the way I want it to be because I understand that I am the power that needs to do that for myself. You hold the power. There are forces that work around us 100%, but we are not beneath it. We are not under that force. We are that force. We are all part of that force. Like a giant pool of water, and all of us are a drop of that water, and all of us make up that water. All the energies we embody, every single one of us, come from that one giant pool of water. That source energy is us. We are all a reflection of each other. Everything we pull into our worlds, we are meeting another face, but it is still us. That face is embodying a piece of us. We are all connected. When you understand this, your eyes open, you feel connected to everybody. You have compassion for every other living being, because you understand all of a sudden that circumstances that play out for us when we open up our eyes here, it determines who we are going to be within this experience up until you get this. And then when you understand this, that's when you can recreate yourself. The sky's the limit. You become whoever you wish to be. You don't condemn yourself anymore. You've broken out of these walls that have kept you caged for most of your life, and you are now free to cultivate the life you would like to experience, because you understand that it all comes back to the energy that you create within you. Growing it, lighting it up inside. This is it. Some people, they will never come to this place of awareness. They will forever look outside of them, searching for something to come in and tell them they're worthy. You are worthy all the time. This is it. You know, people can condemn me, especially the ones with the conformed belief systems. They will come out without fail all the time and try to almost, you know, push on their views of how wrong it is what I am saying, what I am speaking. But it is not wrong of me, because I'm not telling anybody to go out and do harm onto somebody, and I'm not bringing harm onto anybody. What my way of perception is that we each are accountable for the way we step in life. A lot of people don't like to hold themselves accountable. They want to believe that they are victims, that they are cursed, that they have this dark cloud hanging over their head. This mentality of believing that you are being punished by something greater than you, that has said you are a small human being who needs to repent and suffer for being you, it doesn't add up. That this is a place of light, to exist and function living up to these measures. Because people speak of something greater than us that is judging us. We are the ones who are judging ourselves. Each time we take in these stories and they are breaking us down and making us feel ashamed, all these contrasts of emotions run through us, it shuts us away and keeps us separate to all that we really are. What we really are is that pool of contrast in energy. We cannot be anything other than that. You never need to be ashamed of what you are. You never need to be ashamed of what your story has been, because when you realize that you are all of that, only then are you able to get into balance with yourself and accept every single part of your light and your dark. When you come to this place of accepting all that you ever have experienced, all the things that you believed were fails and that you were stepping wrong, they are cultivating you. They are teaching you who you can be with each encounter you make, with each ugly side of yourself that you face. You hold the decision on whether you want to face that over and over again, or if you're going to do something to change that and bring yourself into a higher timeline. This is your power always. I don't feel ashamed about anything I've experienced in my life. It doesn't matter what people's judgment is of me. This is my freedom that I have found within me. I am transparent of my human sides, my darker sides that have come into play for me. And this is what has taught me to grow myself better. All those things that people want to condemn you for, when you can own it within yourself and not hide away and let this world make you feel bad and small within yourself about the path you have walked, you find freedom and acceptance for yourself, and you are free, and you will give that same freedom and acceptance for everybody else outside of you. This is what brings you into balance. This is what opens you up to your spirituality. Your spirituality is your acceptance of these energies that make you up completely, the whole of it. This is what you are. You are contrast. This is what brings about your evolution. I keep saying this because too many seem to stay blocked off to this. And this is what keeps them so caged and never ever truly opening up to the power they really hold within them, that we each hold within us. We are all things. We are the dark and the light. When we accept this, we enable ourselves to go through the dark in order for us to transition into our light. Contrast, that spark, that is what brings life. When the positive and negative frequencies come into contact, it creates such a dynamic force. That clash of energies is what brings life. That is why you have trauma followed by bliss. Think of birth. A woman gives birth through pain. The baby within the womb, it's petrified. It doesn't know what's happening, doesn't know the world outside of the womb at all. It goes through chaos upon its entrance into this life. When it takes its first breath, it is brought close to the mother and brought back into a state of balance, of peace, of harmony, when it feels that warmth, that remembrance of all it is, what its home is. This is what source is. This is what I see it like. This is one way that I can interpret it, where, you know, I hope it makes sense to somebody, but this is how I see all that we are, and the reason for the contrast, why it's needed, why it happens. It expands us. That conflicting energy, it is so necessary. It is not a bad thing. When you can separate the storyline, those things that have been taught to us that are meant to be traumatic, they have been told to us that they're traumatic. That is why we see it as a bad thing. This is why the world is stuck and suffering in states of depression and mental health issues that is everywhere now. Because when it is spoken to us of how we must perceive it, it becomes the way we perceive it. It is passed on generation through generation. When you understand this, you rise above it and you are able to become the watcher of your world. You no longer lose yourself to those stories, to the display of where those energies come from, and you are able to then understand that it is just an energy moving through you. When you can allow that to move through you, you strip away from the faces that have brought you harm, the people that have brought you pain and suffering. You strip away from the things that you believed were the worst parts of you being projected out into the world, and you find acceptance within it all. It opens you up. It frees your spirit to soar through this experience, because you are no longer living by this broken and distorted system that keeps us sick and weak. This is seriously how I see it. It is this poisoning within our mind that keeps us so trapped in our suffering. And it's a false suffering. I can't see pain or suffering the same way as I used to at all. Once I was there as well, but this was where my freedom came, was understanding that all these pre-notions, these stories that are put out to us on, you know, what is interpreted as sad, as pain, as trauma, I don't see it the same way. And, you know, call me delusional, I don't really care what anybody has to say about my perceptions here. I know I'm free inside. I know that nothing affects me to this degree of what this human existence has told us that we need to be affected like and see our world like. I do not look at it the same way at all. So I put this out there because this, to me, it's lifted my heart. It's opened my heart completely. I see the limitation within our human existence, and once I've seen it, all I want to do is offer out this open, expanded way of seeing and perceiving life from a blank slate, and being able to Separate yourself from everything you believed was a block in your world, everything that has kept you within those four walls. I share it because when you break free from that and you reconnect to your truth, to the power you hold within you, you are a limitless being. You are a limitless energy source. You fear nothing. You are capable of anything you wish. You no longer limit yourself from judgment because you don't judge anything anymore. You allow it all. This is that openness that I talk about, being receptive to all things. I don't know. I just wanted to put that out there, and I hope I kind of made sense to somebody out there, that it enables you to shift away from this conformed way of existing that they have imprinted upon us and have kept us caged within our own mind. We are the most powerful force, each and every single one of us. I hope that helps somebody today. So, you know, take the message if you like, and if not, that's okay too, like I always say. But for the people who are open to taking in others, I appreciate you always. You are the ones that help expand and evolve this world into a higher timeline. And that is always what it is about. The core of our existence is to grow, evolve, and expand into more.